Yo guys, what's going on? SJ here, and bringing along yet another Team Fortress 2 related video. So, in today's video, I'm going to be counting down my 5 favourite things that came out with the Pyro update. And this, just to get this out of the way now, this is entirely opinional, and many of you will quite possibly disagree with a lot of the things I say on this list. Also, it is in no particular order, so you might think the 5 deserves the first, or blah blah blah, but they're in no particular order. They're just the things which I think are were the best and potentially the most needed to be added in the game. Also, I'm not a competitive player, so I'm not thinking about any of these additions or changes competitively. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get straight into this video. The first thing I wanted to talk about in this video was the new maps that were added. There were 5 in total, 4 from the community and 1 from Valve. They're just amazing. Like, you have maps that play really well and seem really balanced, like Mercenary Park, which is the Valve one. And then you have maps with such verticality and beauty, like, Banana Bay. Banana Bay is probably my favourite map, actually, out of them all. It's just so beautiful. And the verticality means once people stop sort of spamming pyro, there'll be a lot of soldiers on that rocket jumping about the place. And I found Heavy is pretty cool. Just that little touch that the cart goes underwater. And I think for those of you that saw Muzok's video, he seemed quite happy about that too. But yeah, the maps are just amazing. You have the other community maps like Moss Rock, Lazarus, and oh dear, Enclosure, that's it. And they're all amazing, and I think Moss Rock reminds me of Abandoned Upward, except I think it's more beautiful. Like, all the leaves, all the trees, everything in that map is just so well made and just so beautiful. The maps that were added have just literally like enlivened me to play this game even more than I did before. Although that if I do any more, it's probably going to get unhealthy. Second off, we have the Warpants, and I really like them. And it's not just what they look like, it's the concept of them. I know it's not the newest concept to be added to video games, or even really TF2 in general. I mean, you have Stranger Fires, you have Kill Streak kits and all that. But the fact that you can put them on any weapon, like you can have a skin on a flare gun now, because of the Warpaints, and I think that is really just amazing. You can have an unusual flare gun, like, how honestly cool is that? Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I find this addition to the game really cool, and something really nice, and not unique, and it does cost money, but I think it's a really good thing that they added. It means, like, you're not just limited to the stock weapons in terms of skins, which I think is really nice, because some people don't like using stock, but then they also want to invest money in the skin, but then they have to use stock, but now they don't, so I think this was a really good addition to the game. Thirdly, and this is probably the smallest change or addition to the game, and that is the fix to whereas, like, whether the pyro that is chasing you has more lag than their flamethrower, even though it looks nothing like it's hitting you, is still making you take damage, and it has to do with the lag. If pyro's lagging more, his flamethrower has a longer range and all that stuff. And they fixed that, and they added new flamethrower particles, which I think also look amazing, and that also ties in with this, the third thing, which I think is the best that they added in the pyro update. Also, the new weapons and stuff, the new flamethrower I think is really cool, because that's on a similar topic, you know. Now this change is really good as it adds a lot more consistency to the flamethrower and the recipient of the damage and the user of the flamethrower, which I think is really good. And while consistency can sometimes get boring, I think in this case it's really a really good thing. So the second last on this list has got to be the contracts. For those of you that have watched my previous videos, the contracts were the thing I was looking forward to the most, and they did not disappoint. I've started the free ones, and like I've said, I don't know how many times, I'm going to do a let's play on the paid ones, which I already have. So far the free ones have been really good, and it's really nice how they've added it, that you have to do the contracts to get the weapons, which I think is really nice, which encourages people to play the game, to get the contracts. No, not to get the contracts, to get the weapons by doing the contracts. And B, it adds like a new sort of element, like instead of just sort of jumping in and trying to level up, which is generally what I do, or just stuff around on 2-foot or something with the sticky jumper or whatnot, I actually like try and work towards a goal, which I as a person really like working towards something. Like with schoolwork or like anything, I'll set myself a deadline that is ahead of a deadline that's been set by me for others, which is also why I can upload a bunch of times, even though my videos take about an hour to 2 hours to make in research, SFMs, whatever. And then like another 3 hours to upload, but just skip that bit. And so I really like the contracts that have been added, and I haven't actually started the paid contract, so I wonder what if you're limited, if it's almost like uncrating a crate, like if you can actually get unusual Warpants from them. I don't know, but I really like it, and I like the reward system how you get the Warpants for completing them. I just really like the contracts in general. So the final and, in my opinion, possibly best addition they have done to the game so far in this update has got to be the fact that you can now, while queued for casual, join community servers. Again, it's not the most unique idea. Overwatch sort of had like skirmish, that's it. They had skirmishes, they put you into a server, or you just muck around until you get placed into a game. But in TF2, you can manually go, select the server, select a map. You can't do that with Overwatch skirmishes, sorry. And I think this is really amazing. And it means that even those people that have really long queue times, I can't say myself, I'm one of them. I think normally it takes tops 5 minutes to find a game for me in Western Australia. But for those that do, this is really good, as it now means they're not sort of sitting there waiting. They can now have the option to warm up in a community server. It's also good for competitive because you can warm up, practice your rocket jumping in a jump server, or pretty much do anything now. There's hardly any limitations apart from joining another casual server while you wait for yours, but that sort of defeats the purpose of, yeah. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. It's just my little rundown of the 5 best things that were added and changed in the game during this update. Overall, the update was absolutely amazing, and pretty much everything added was really, really good. And pretty much everything added, most of it was asked for by the community, which I think was quite good. All the maps are great, all the new weapons are great, they all seem very well balanced. The Dragon's Fury seems a bit overpowered, but I think that's just because everyone is using it, that's why you die to it so much in the moment. But no, all the weapons seem very balanced, all the balance changes seem fairly reasonable. I haven't seen any weapons that, there's always going to be weapons that go in and out of meta, I guess, in competitive play. But in casual play, it doesn't really matter. So I wouldn't have had the best taste of what's overpowered, what's underpowered, because casual is very circumstantial and random. But anyway, as always, guys, have a swell day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.